Good morning, Wingman Merch Crew. Actually, I'm doing this with headset on. I'm not sure whether this is going to work for me or not. We're going to soon find out. And it's Friday, not Thursday. I am actually, there's two things that I wanted to talk about today. The first was just thankfulness. As the year of 2018 is winding down, and I am just reviewing and pondering the things that happened in my business and beyond that in 2018. The first word that comes to my mind is thankful. Um, Thankful to be alive. I'm always that. That's the first words. I say this all the time. The first words that come out of my mouth before I even get out of bed every day is thank you, God, for giving me another day on this earth. Thank you for allowing me to be alive today. And I think being thankful is a great way to start every day. But again, as I was reviewing everything over 2018, that was also the first word that came to my mind was just thankfulness. Thankfulness for this community, thankfulness for Nate and Stephen, and just their servants' hearts and their knowledge and their caring, and just so grateful. I'm so grateful to be part of this community, so grateful to be able to do these hopefully helpful, motivational, encouraging messages. I know that they have the last 6 weeks or so, they've been a little bit more spotty than some. But once we dove into the masses of Q4, and then we also did some traveling for family, my schedule definitely got a little bit out of whack. But so grateful and thankful that I get to have this time once a week to come in and just share a little bit of what I hope is encouragement to you, and just to remind everybody that's here in this community how valued you are and how grateful and thankful everyone is that you're here, and really looking forward to 2019 and being able to see how, yeah, hi, Stephen. I miss talking to you, buddy. I got to talk to Nate for a while yesterday during office hours, and I need to talk with you. It's been a while. Yeah, I'm just so grateful and so thankful. Yeah, it's you guys are in a really good place, being in this community, and what you can learn, not just about merch and not just about your business, but as Nate and Stephen often talk about, what you can do beyond that. Merch is just like the starting block. It's the starting point for what this group desires for you to be able to achieve, and it's just so much beyond just merch by Amazon and t-shirts, but that's a great starting point for so many of us. And I just hope that I can impart with you, impart to you, how grateful and thankful and fortunate we are to be here, and where it can take us in 2019. So I wanted to say a little bit about, just reviewing how my merch business went this last year. Some of the things that I'm most thankful for is just seeing some success. And I think it's been pretty important. I talk a lot, there's two communities that I'm part of. I chose to really not be involved in any other communities, pretty much. These are the two places where I spend my time, the Wingman Merch Group and one other place, because of the leadership that's here. But as I was reviewing 2018 and how it evolved from that, I've just been blown away by, the steps and the strides that have happened in my business. And so I think my encouragement for today is for everybody to kind of take a minute to look back on what you've learned, the successes that you've had, even the failures or what you perceive as failures, and what you've learned from that, and be thankful and grateful for where you are today, which I know, based on my personal experience, is a lot different. If you've engaged in this community, it's a lot different from where you started in 2018, and where it's going to take you in 2019. So a couple of things that's been important to me, like I said, I'm two groups that I'm a part of, and that's where I choose to spend my time, because I think that they are people that truly desire for you to be served and helped and guided, and this is one of them. And what I want to take, I guess the piece that I want to give to you from that is that maybe I should take a step back. What I want to start with is by saying what the changes that I've seen in my business. I started 2018. I'd had my merch account for a while, and I hadn't really done that much with it and didn't really know where to go with it, to be totally honest, or didn't really perceive what it could do for me. Like I said, both in merch and then where it would take me beyond that. And as the year has progressed, the couple of points that I wanted to make are that we all have different goals. We all have different aspirations for what we want. And so I'm going to share a little bit about what happened for me and my business as an encouragement. I know I'm kind of going all over the place right now, but it's because I have like all the stuff that's rolling around in my head, probably because I haven't been on here regularly recently. So I have so much to say. And then sometimes, I talk about this a lot. I don't know. In fact, I never do. I never know what I'm going to say until I open my mouth. And I kind of just, I figure it's just God's way of reaching whoever it is that needs to be reached. So it doesn't have anything to do with me. I'm just the vessel. I have the big enough mouth to be able to have it go out. So I am going to be a little all over the place here, but I think the points that I want to make are that I find it interesting because I think so many of us any of us that are entrepreneurs come from a place where our background before getting into e-commerce can be several different experiences. I know a lot of people had originated in things like network marketing, or other types of marketing, party planning companies, anything that's in that realm of things, or have just always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and e-commerce is the way to take that entrepreneurial spirit now and be able to build on it. One of the pitfalls that can happen with that is that we are kind of we're fed and we are taught and we start to believe in the theory of overnight success. I'm not saying that can't happen, and there's certainly stories of people that have started on merch and they got lucky or they hit the right place and sold 30,000 shirts overnight. But the reality for most of us is that we're trying to cram like a 4-year college education into like 1 week, and then we start beating ourselves up because we're not selling 40,000 shirts. So I think one of the things that I want to give as an encouragement is just to remember that we all have different goals, we all have different aspirations, we have different knowledge levels, we have different amounts of time and funds to be able to commit to our e-commerce business. And so it was important for me to share a little bit of what my personal experience was this last year as, again, an encouragement for you and wherever you are right now. So I started in 2018. I had my merch account, hadn't done much with it, certainly didn't have training. I was lucky enough to find Nate and Steven, and so grateful that I did. And ended my year, in December alone, I sold, I just looked it up, I think it was 67 shirts so far, just in December. Not only did I sell shirts in the US market, I also sold a couple of shirts in the UK market, or a couple of items. It was either pop sockets or shirts. And just yesterday, sold my first German t-shirt, and I just uploaded it. Talk about being late to the party. Realized I had some New Year's designs that still weren't even up, and it's like, well, I'm going to put them up and see what happens. And I'll go ahead and put them in the UK market and Germany too. And within 24 hours, sold my first German shirt. That was a New Year's shirt. Go figure. So for me, that's huge success. Some people might look at that and think, you sold less than 100 shirts this month. That's, the stories that I was banking on or hoping on or thinking about are those ones where, I hit on this rocket, niche and sold 40,000 shirts overnight. that's great. It's wonderful that happens. But for the most of us that are here, it's more a process of learning the steps, learning the environment of Merch by Amazon, especially if you've been working with FBA stuff and the differences and stuff like that, or if you've had no experience with e-commerce and are starting into merch. Set realistic goals. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. And for me, this has been a huge success. I should have actually gone back and looked at how many shirts I sold over the whole year. Because, again, the numbers, nothing like December was my biggest month by far. But what I'm seeing is I'm seeing consistent sales every month. I'm seeing my royalties increase every month. And I can tell you for sure that it's way better than I did last year because I was hardly doing anything at all. And so as you're working in your business into 2019, the encouragement that I want to give you is to, one of my favorite sayings is prosper where you're planted. And so I think it's really important for you to take what you have learned, the successes that you've had from 2018, and use that as foundation for what you're going to do in 2019. And like I said, with everything that Nate and Steven have coming up, the trainings, I'm so pleased with so many of the things that they are bringing to our community right now. I think it's going to help a lot of people. But take that information, take that foundation, and then use that as a launching point for what you're going to be doing in 2019. And be happy and thankful for it. Going back to the theme for today, be thankful for the accomplishments that you've had this year, even if in your own mind you're thinking, well, they're not very big. They are big. They are big because you're making forward progress. And you're taking realistic expectations based on the prosper where you're planted mindset, and you're doing something with it. And so, you should be thankful for that, grateful for that, pat yourself on the back, and understand that that's a true measure of commitment, perseverance, and really being able to take actionable steps forward. I hope that makes sense. Like I said, sometimes the disadvantage to not knowing what you're going to say ahead of time is, again, I usually talk all over the place, but whoever needs to hear this, God is somebody who's listening, God is needing you to hear this. I don't know who you are. And I don't know what piece of this is a thing that you need to hear, but I do believe that. And so even though I'm all over the place in my points here, it's going to reach whoever it needs to, because that's God's way. So that I am desiring and encouraging and recommending and all of those words to remember to be thankful for what you've accomplished in 2018, big or small, in your own mind. Just remember it's where you need to be, and those are the foundations that you need to have in order to be able to bring 2019 to make it even more than what you can even imagine. Does that make sense? So thankfulness. That's I think that's my word for today. My encouragement for today is thankfulness for what you've learned, thankfulness for this community. Thank you. Thankfulness for these leaders. Steven and Nate are I call them, they're my surrogate sons. They're good people. They're good people, and they're good, knowledgeable people. And if you take that combination and put it together, it creates a community that there really is no stopping where you can go with this. I really hope that and desire that you understand that and believe that you're in the right place here. And so thankfulness for sure, thankfulness for that. And then the next thing I want to, and I didn't write it down, maybe I should edit my title, but vision. I think that's the next word that's coming to my mind. Vision for 2019. Now that, again, the hustle and bustle and hysteria of Q4 is winding down and we can start planning for 2019, I want you to take that thankfulness and for what you've accomplished in 2018 and also add vision for 2019, and understand that if you start this year with a vision of where you want it to end, and then take actionable I can't even talk anymore, actionable steps to achieve that, you're going to be so blown away by where you've come and what you're going to see at the end of 2019. So have vision. 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 have vision and have it be something even beyond what you can even imagine. And I think that you're going to be able to see that you'll find it here. So, maybe what I needed, maybe what God was telling me is that someone in this group, or everybody in this group, maybe even me sometimes, I need to be reminded. And I have a tendency sometimes to, I know I come across as very confident, but I'm really not. Not very confident in my abilities all the time, probably most of the time. And so my vision, I'll share that. My vision for 2019 is even more success than I saw in 2018. Taking what I learned in 2018 and using that as a springboard, a launching pad, a foundation for what 2019 is going to bring. For me personally, what that's going to look like is that I was kind of blown away by what the sales that I had on Etsy. Stephanie Howell had put together this wonderful training for us earlier this year. Actually, it was this summer, I think, on Etsy. And I just did those basic steps, just went through and set up my Etsy store. And just from that training alone, thank you, Stephanie, by the way, I put up my Etsy store and had really good sales. I had 7 shirts in there and 2 mugs, I think. I don't even think I had 7. I think I had 6 shirts in there and 2 mugs or something like that. I didn't do any ads. I didn't do anything beyond the basic keyword research and tags and everything that we learned here, and had about 50 sales on Etsy just in December. So that's definitely for my 2019 is one of the things that I'm going to be looking at doing more of, learning more about Etsy and expanding out, as Stephen tells us all the time, expanding out beyond just merch by Amazon. That's just our launching point. And so for 2019, my vision, going back to what I was saying, my vision for 2019 is expanding on my merch by Amazon, definitely adding Etsy into the mix, and other platforms that Stephen and Nate are going to bring to us, and ideas and thoughts for how to build our business for 2019. So anyway, I've already talked way longer than I always try and keep it short enough to keep people interested and encouraged, and then I talk forever, and that's okay. I understand that it's okay, but I'm going to go now, and I hope, again, that whoever needs to hear this, I hope you receive it. You know, again, I'm feeling this really strong urge, desire. I think somebody in this group, maybe more than one person in this group, and maybe it's even me, needs to hear this. Start today, take today, and just stop for a minute. Take a deep breath. Look at thankfulness for this past year. Look at vision for the next year. And then spend time in this community. Ask questions. Follow the trainings. Understand that the leaders in this group, Stephen and Nate, truly desire for you to be successful. And so they're not just these elusive people, you know, that you can't talk to or anything like that. You know, these are people that you can partner with, that you can ask questions from, who desire for you to be helped and encouraged and trained and to have everything that you need. So lean into that, lean into that wealth of knowledge and help and servanthood that's here for you. And so I'm going to stop now and just say, again, thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Nate. I love you guys so much, and I'm so grateful and thankful for you, for starting this community, for investing into this community, both with time and money and heart and everything that's here. I'm so grateful for you both. I'm so thankful for the successes that I've had so far this year, and I'm already going to thank you for the even bigger successes that are coming in 2019, because I know I'm with the right people. So I want to thank you both. I hope you have a wonderful new year. And for everybody here in the community, it's really an honor and a privilege for me to be here. I am so grateful for everybody here. I'm so grateful for the friendships, for the partnerships, for just, for the people here. Looking forward to 2019, getting to know more of you better, and just seeing what your stories are. Please share your stories. I love to hear them. But For now, I'm going to sign off, say Happy New Year to everybody. Looking forward to 2019. And I will be back on my regular Thursday schedules for Encouragement Thursdays starting next week. So you all take care and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.